Hello and welcome to today's Storytelling Saturday. I'm Michael Gracia. I've got a really exciting show today, something I'm looking forward to. One of the guy I got coming on, my guest is Jay Piscopo, who's an amazing artist, amazing cartoonist. He works a lot with public domain characters, which is our topic today, and I'm a huge fan of public domain and being able to use them in your stories and the characters out there that are fantastic. Uh, Jay happens to know a lot more about public domain than I do. He uses them a lot more than I do. So um, he's got some projects. We're going to talk about everything. So let's bring him on. And if you've never met him, here's your chance. There's always questions allowed. Feel free to ask. Hello, Jay.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm well. Thank you for that very kind introduction.
Oh, you're very welcome. I've been a fan of yours, as you know, since I don't even know when I discovered your work. When I first saw it, I'm like, this is awesome, and I started following you on social media. I own two digital copies of your comics. One, I don't know where it is on what drive it's on, but one of them was, I believe, it was called Thoris.
Oh yeah,
and I had.
Maybe we're on for a long enough. I have a 5'6" Thoris cutout. We can bring.
Oh wow, yeah, I'd totally love to see it.
Yeah, so I think that's exciting. I think that most everybody will stay in just for that.
Yeah, I think that's great. And we also have Heroes Unleashed, and that's what I have. So I'll definitely show Heroes Unleashed because I have to go through one of my many hard drives of backups to find Thor's, but I know I have it.
Thoris is a whole other kind of interesting subject. Also, there's I won't go into it right now with some stuff, but Thoris has a very bittersweet kind of thing in it, in that Thoris is actually a keystone character in this multiverse I've been trying to create since we did Captain Eli and other books, and even when I work with other writers, like we'll go into this. One of the writer I'm working with right now, Michael Norwitz, he saw what I had done with, and we could talk about this a little bit with, as a way to get into public domain characters, is a character called Captain KO. And Captain KO, he was inspired because from what I had done with it, and I was inspired from Captain KO being what was called a cover-only character.
Yeah.
And we're now working on a book together of just cover-only characters, creating entire backstories, which he has done. And he's kind of using what I had done with KO and some of his stuff, and also some other characters I've worked on. So it's this nice cycle of inspiring each other, and particularly where what I'm getting from this is like this. To me, with public domain characters, we're in the world of found object art, and that's something I'd love to talk about with you. In that, what that means and how that relates to the so-called fine art world, and how.
We got a little lag on your end there.
I ramble. Wow. See, too much.
Okay.
I told Michael before I've had.
Oh, unfortunately, we got a lag. It's funny. And by the way, good morning, Michael Walsh. Thank you for tuning in. So here's something funny. When Jay and I were talking backstage before we went live, he had no issue with his internet, no lag, no nothing. The second we go live,
what's happening?
Good morning, Tombo. So let's give him a moment. He's on his second or maybe 10th cup of coffee right now, so he might actually just be moving faster than the camera catches. Oh, he left. Mike Lopez, hello. Let's let Jay come back on. I'm sure he will. He's and thank you guys for tuning in. He is an amazing artist. We will be looking at his stuff, and his love of public domain is inspiring. So caffeine's kicking in definitely. I've only had my one cup. Look, it looks like he's back. Hello? Jay, can you hear us? Jay? He's moving between the multiverse. This is a little sad right now. we were talking about this all last week for him to come on, and we were setting this up. We had a really cool phone conversation. I'm like super excited for today. Jay, if you can hear us, you're frozen. I'll give him a moment. In the meantime, while he's trying to get his stuff done, I'm not going to go through the comic 100%, but what I want to do is share I'm going to share the Heroes Unleashed. I have a PDF of it. I don't remember why I didn't buy the actual cover, but I got this off, I believe, Indie Planet. And what he did with this book, if you guys are unfamiliar with it, is he took public domain characters, he did his own twist on them, on some of them, and he just told like stories with them. I'm sorry, I'm waiting he just popped in. Let me just see. I don't see his picture coming on. Let's see. Oh, he's still, I'll wait till he's back. But yeah, it was a very, very, like the blue scarab is a form of the blue beetle. You know, and Jay has a lot of things, and there are aspects of these, and this is what I wanted him to explain, is the different aspects of characters that even though they now may be owned by companies, what part of them are actually public domain. Oh, looks like he's back in the... Hello? Oh. Jay, I can't see your video. I see you in the green room, but I can't see you. So yeah, he's having some stuff. What is it? The lag beast returned. You're absolutely right. Hey, Alfred, how you doing? I'm glad you tuned in for today. I'm gonna just remove Jay until he's back in. But I didn't hear his pop in. Sorry. Let's see here. There it is. So yeah, if you look at some of these things, and he talks about how his characters changed throughout the different times, and I'm not gonna show all of them right now. I want to wait till he's officially on and we can talk and look at the stuff. But he's got some really great artwork here, and let's see if he just popped back in, but I'm waiting for his image to appear. So, there it goes. Let's see. Hello.
Hi, Michael.
Yeah, hi.
It's the Phantom. I am right. I had to move. It said go next to my router.
Uh-huh.
So I'm next to my router, which is right next to my occult altar. So this is why I look like Anton LaVey right now. Here's this better. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on.
All right. So I'm hoping this is going to... I had all sorts of props and stuff, but you got that book there, so we're good. Let me get another... Hang on.
I'm just going to put up, it says, maybe if you reduce this...
Stretch. I'm not losing you, are? Oh, please, God.
No, you're good. Recently, I saw an article, characters who should become public domain in 2020. I was surprised at Johnny Quest on there, but something's holding it up for some reason. I forget. A lot of
losing you again? I hope not.
Who, me? No. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I hear you fine.
I keep losing you.
I don't know. You might have some... Oh... That's sad. I'm here. I hear you. You look fine.
On?
You're totally on.
Can anyone see me?
Absolutely, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, now you're frozen again. He went away again. Technical difficulties of streaming. Anyway, I'm sure he'll be back. But yeah, seriously, if anybody in the comments have any questions, who was that? Michael Walsh, yeah, you commented about the Johnny Quest. I haven't heard anything about that one. Maybe Jay knows about it. So, hello, you back?
Hi.
Okay.
I hope so. I hope it keeps talking. Now it's telling me to plug into the internet. Even I can't look better than the Wi-Fi. So it's either that or the universe is telling me to shut up. So I'm going to walk on eggshells for. Any questions? Sorry.
Well, yeah, we have a couple.
No.
All, I just want to say that.
Oh God.
Michael Walsh says you like the show.
This is better than a one of those. What is that insurance company? Progressive. It's better than a Progressive commercial.
So we got. I read this thing. It says maybe Michael Walsh says maybe if he reduces his frame rate, it'll help the connection. And then he said, I recently saw an article about characters who should have become public domain in 2021. One he was surprised to see was Johnny Quest on there, but something's holding it up for some reason.
Johnny Quest is not public domain.
Yeah, I didn't think so, but
Johnny Quest is not public domain. No.
Yeah, no.
Many years they've tried to make a live action Johnny Quest movie.
Mm-hmm.
Warner's.
Yeah. I don't know what's holding them up on that one. I mean,
I'm literally going to sit on top. I'm sitting on top of my router. This is what I'm going to sit on my router here. Johnny Quest. Did you get that? Johnny Quest is not public domain. It's owned by Warner's.
Yeah. Yes, I heard that. Can you hear me? All this stuff you want to do with a smile on your face, and you got to laugh it off, because if you don't, you might cry a little bit, right, guys? It's funny. Jay and I had a good hour conversation on the phone. I want to say, was it maybe last Friday? And this is when we started discussing all this stuff. And welcome back.
So the pro tip coming back was that lighting makes you look amazing.
Well, you're fine. You can stay in the shadows and do whatever you need to do. You can be like that, like those. What are they? Those documentaries.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
How do I change my frame rate? So we had a suggestion. How do I do that?
Are you on Mac or PC? Because I haven't done this in a while.
No, no, this will take forever. And
okay, hold on. Mike Walsh, if you know about this, just send it. I don't know how to do it quickly off the top of my head. Is it in the? Let me see if it's in the StreamYard settings real quick for you.
Are we back?
Yes.
Actually, it seems like we're okay right now, right?
Yeah, it seems like we're okay.
It's a little slow.
Yeah. The only thing I would say maybe
keep totally chopping out though.
Let's see. Let me see. I'm testing.
You're not running your vacuum cleaner, are you?
No, I do have a fan behind me. Can you hear that or? No. Okay. So let's try to get into this. If that smile is still in real time, or is he frozen?
Well, let's do the chat while we can. You want to try that?
Yes.
I'm going to put in.
We could either be live chat, I believe, or in the private chat. You can write me.
I'm putting Johnny Quest is on by one.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. It's funny. I'm getting Zoom. Yeah, Zoom. I've never Zoom. I tried
platform.
This platform. I'll explain for those guys out there who don't know about streaming and doing what we're doing here. There's a lot of different platforms that we could do. One of them, the one I'm using is StreamYard. I feel it's one of the easier ones, and they're always doing some really cool updates to them. And I was reading about some updates coming out soon. But there is Zoom, but Zoom I had issues connecting to my social media. And then there's OBS software, which stands for Open Broadcasting System or software, whatever. And Streamlabs is an OBS product or an OBS type of product. And you can bring Zoom in through those and other things. I don't know if we can bring Zoom in through StreamYard yet, but there are, this seems to be one of the better ones and what most people are using. So unfortunately, this is probably on his end with his internet connection, but let's see. J.M. DeSantis says, I can relate. The very next show I did after yours, and he was on a couple of weeks ago talking about, or was it last week when we did the Marvel, no, 2 weeks ago when we did the Marvel method. this was happening to me all night for 2 hours. All I can say, it's on the viewer's end. It's not bad when the jokes keep it light. No, you're right. And JM, since if you're still watching, just to let you know, I am going to finish that that video. I mean, not the video, the comic we did, but I've been dealing with some arm issues, so I'm moving a little slower. Oh, some reason I got 2 of you now. Let's remove that one. Okay.
Oh, Lord. You sound way better. You were sounding like Charlie Teeter. Don't move around like that, Garen. Oh no, you froze.
I just sat up in my chair.
PTSD.
Yeah, but you see, it's on my side. You're the frozen.
Don't move. Oh no.
Okay, let's
on my side you go dark.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, so
oh,
let's try this out. Let's try.
All right.
Let me ask you this. I'm gonna write.
Oh.
Okay.
We have audio though right now, right? We're
yes.
It. I don't know what I got to do here. I'm also doing this through Firefox, which should work better than. Let me try.
Okay. I just sent you. Alfred, he just asked, what about going through Zoom? As I mentioned, I have trouble hooking it up to my social media at the moment. I'm talking to him in the private chat right now. Jay, if you're listening, I have a private chat set up. I mean, the private chat I sent you a message in. And I'm going to try to tech support this for you through the private chat. Who's this here? Because of radio. Okay. So Mike Walsh says, because of radioactive extensions, it's not public domain yet, along with the list of other. Okay. I guess I haven't been following what's going on with public domain characters. I read something recently, and it might have been just a skim of the same article that you read, Michael, that the original versions of who is it, Superman, is going to become, but it's not. But it's the leap tall buildings in the single bound type, not the other, not the current one. Let's see. Okay, Jay, you're frozen again. Unfortunately, did you check the private chat? See if you can write in there and answer the questions. I got a couple of questions. I got a question for you in there. I'm going to try to tech support you.
Well, I don't know. I seem to be okay on my end. I can't see you.
Okay. Well, let's just leave it at that right now. Everything seems fine as long as audio is going on. I think we're cool. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Sure.
So we were talking.
I'll try to be
long-winded. So Michael Walsh was talking about an article that he read that he posted. It's in Twitch, so I'll copy that post and put it in the in the stream because a lot of other people are watching it. So this is something else. He says these Batman characters and stuff are going into public domain. I don't know much. I have to read the article, but Jay's gone. So let me see if I can. This is the link that Michael added. Okay.
I saw the list.
Hey. Okay, you saw the.
With
yeah.
They're public domain.
Yeah, according to the link, I'll send you the link because he posted it on Twitch. But this right here is the link. I just can't copy and paste it right now into the chat. But okay. I will check it out and post it later when I copy it from Twitch. Now, he's gone again. So let's see here. Who's this here? Jeffrey Wilcox says, I found the names. The Woman in Red and Moon Man are both in public domain. There are at least 3 different characters with the dorky name Moon Man on the on Facebook page. I did some art for these. Okay, are you talking about on Jeffrey? Are you talking about on the public domain Facebook group? Now, I'm not. I go on the public domain Facebook group quite often. I don't post often. I like to draw them, but I do a lot of like penciling and quick sketches, and I never photograph them or scan them in to put them up. I got to start doing that. I love drawing some public domain. Moon Man, I'm not familiar with, but I know you think it's a dorky name, but I love that name. I'm actually, when it comes to comics, like I'm a big fan of like the Legion of Superheroes, and all their names were so just corny and dumb that they were just fun, to me. And I remember actually being in high school and drawing characters and coming up with names. And a friend of mine said to me, he was like, "You sound like you should be drawing the Legion of superhero comics because of all this, because of how I created names." I didn't get into public domain characters until probably my mid-20s. I'm 45 now. And when I started learning about them, working at a company, and they were talking about the use of characters. And I always knew, like, okay, I'm going to give you guys an example of what I know. Now, I love things like mythology, it doesn't matter from what part of the world. And I've always known mythological characters could be used because no one owns a mythological character. Same thing with fairy tales these days. So let me just check. I think I'm getting a no. So like Disney did a lot of stuff like that. They have Disney's Hercules. Hercules is technically public domain, but Disney owns their version, so we couldn't do a story of Disney's Hercules. But you could take Hercules and make your own story. So I've always loved that. And it was around my mid-20s when I started learning about public domain superheroes, when I was doing research on superheroes and learning how certain characters or certain aspects of the characters before they were, owned, things go into public domain. So, for example, we all know like Captain Marvel, Shazam. There are certain aspects of that character, certain looks, certain parts of the story that are in public domain. And Jay's done some beautiful work with that. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. It goes. So Mike Walsh says they would have been public domain if they're not retroactive extension added to the original copyright laws. So Jay got me into public domain about 2 years ago. I'm not super familiar with the laws, but I'm catching up slowly. Okay. So you're talking about the Johnny Quest stuff. All right. Let's try Jay again. Welcome back. Hi.
Looks like my Firefox is updated, so
Okay.
I didn't need to update it. I'm hoping we're going to be okay here. Just while we're on, if there's one last ditch effort, should I try on my phone and try to connect?
If this doesn't work, you can go on your phone. I will say this: do you have an iPhone?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes, depending on the charge, if you have it plugged in, iPhones can kind of overheat, and we might hear a little crackle, but if you're good and fully charged or close to fully charged, we should be fine.
We seem to be smooth right now, which is nice. So, yeah, if we bail, I'll try. I'm not sure what's going on here. I thought it would be Firefox would be the issue.
And you've been on my Get in Tune show on Tuesday nights, and I don't think we had that issue when you were on there. So it was.
I think this is demonic. This is what's going on here. Is they know my name in hell, and I've been through this before, and this is part of the what we're going through historically right now. And I won't go. I know it sounds crazy, doesn't it? But with the lighting, it works, and I think, and my hope is it's going to keep people in the conversation now, seeing that I'm completely a whack job. So, which I got to get my coffee. I forgot.
Go get your coffee. We'll talk here for a second. I'll go tell you what we've done. So
great. Yeah,
for those who don't know, for those who don't know or just joining us, Jay Piscopo is a fantastic artist, illustrator, has had a really interesting career, done some great stuff, but is a big supporter of Golden Age characters and the use in comics and storytelling. He's done some fantastic stuff. I was showing you the Heroes Unleashed comics, and while he was gone and off the screen, we were talking about public domain, and I was talking about how I don't know everything about public domain like Jay knows. I'm not saying he knows everything, but he knows a hell of a lot more than I do. And he would be my expert to go to if I had a question. But we were talking about how
Oh no.
Characters in mythology.
No. Come back. See, I got the coffee.
Maybe this is telling you just cut down on coffee. But we were talking about how public domain characters, like mythological characters, you can use, but you can't use I look what?
I think I might try you on my phone.
Okay, yeah. We'll update you again. It's okay.
Wait a minute. It's now more frustratingly intermittent because. Oh no.
What's wrong?
What's wrong?
Yeah, this may be one of my favorite streams now I've ever done. Just the humor.
Just got.
So anyway, just to catch you up, if you don't disappear, we were talking. Like I said, I mentioned how if you wanted to use like Hercules, you can use your version of Hercules, but you can't use Disney's Hercules. Same thing. So I don't remember who it was. Mike Walsh put in the comments. You can use Thor, but you can't use Marvel or DC's interpretation, costume, all that. Excuse me. If you didn't have live streams issue, this would be good. Well, I do plan to have Jay back on my Get in Tune show to talk about some stuff that he's doing, which does fall in the realm of public domain, but my Storytelling Saturday is really more of an educational show, and we wanted to bring the educational aspect of using public domain in stories. And when he comes back onto my Tuesday night show that I do at 8:30 Eastern, that's on all these channels, my Twitch channel, my YouTube channel, and my Facebook channel. We're going to do more of an interview and really learn about the projects and stuff that he's doing with them. Jeffrey Wilcox says, there was a version of Moonman in Pulp magazine, 10 Detective Aces, 38 stories back in the late 20s and 30s. Timely Marvel had a one-shot character with that name, and World's Finest Comics, Batman and Superman had a villain called Moonman. Interesting. I don't know if I was aware of all that. We'll figure it out. That's the joy of online interviews. You're right. It does happen. I've just never had it to this extreme on any of my shows before. I've seen it happen on other stuff, so I guess I got to experience. Oh, I got a Facebook message. Sorry, it's not from him. Sorry. Anyway. So yeah, public domain. If anybody is on here that's not in the Facebook public domain group, the public domain characters, I think that's what I think you guys should go. It's a great resource to check stuff out. You're seeing people doing different types of artwork. Okay, well, you're not on official. Oh, there you are. Are you? You're a little frozen, a little choppy, but your sound is much better.
Good.
So, I just had one more question I was going to get to. He asked me, Mike Walsh asked me if I have a favorite public domain character. I do a lot of different research on public domains. I've always enjoyed Captain Battle. I just like. He kind of reminds me when I think of him as a very just like a character I can use in type of any setting. He's a warrior. He's got that jetpack. It could throw him in a sci-fi setting. So there's different things I could do. So I just think I like characters that are all around. I can put in different places. But what's the name? The Shape is kind of cool. I always liked him. And I don't know. There's tons. There's tons. But I'm always more of a mythology guy, so I kind of tend to lean towards those characters. Anyway, Jay, let's let's get this. Let's get the topics going here. So public domain.
Michael, when you move, I lose you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'll try to do my best.
Around,
My chair swivels. No, it shouldn't be my earphones.
I don't know what's going, but maybe that shouldn't have anything to do with it, should it?
I mean, no. Honestly, it's probably your internet connection. I hate to say that, but I'm not having issues on my end where I feel choppy or I feel like I can't hear. Well, let me ask the audience, you guys watching at home, are there any issues with me that you're watching? Are you having any issues with me in the sense, am I choppy to you? Is my sound cutting in and out?
Well, see, you're good with me right now on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
This is at least the audio's here.
Yeah. As long as the audio stays, I think we're good.
Yeah. Great. So,
sorry, go ahead.
Just to go back a bit, so it just seemed like you've got some questions where people have seen articles about characters and they're wondering what their status is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we get and Mike Walsh says Jay's slightly choppy, but his sound is clear, and Mike is clear on both. So, okay,
great.
Okay, so we're good.
And yeah, I agree with you on Captain Battle. He's my Nick Fury.
Yeah, I can see that.
And but he's more what he is actually is, and we can get into this with public domain characters. A lot of creators will use these characters as fill-ins like that. So, they're not going to draw, they're not drawing for the big companies using their characters, but they've got something similar.
Yeah.
So they can kind of, make a pastiche or build up whatever they want to do. But this kind of has that fill-in, it's sort of a fill-in archetype.
Yeah.
And for me, Captain Battle, something very strange about it was my parents were in the antique business. And back in the 70s at an antique store, my mom bought me an old comic book for like a few bucks, and it was Captain Battle.
Mm. Wow.
And yeah, so I was just like a kid, and I'd seen a real Golden Age comic up close. And also I found in a stack of newspapers once a bunch of Fawcett books without covers.
Mm-hmm.
At a young age. So so by the time I was in junior high, I think most of your audience, you'll know the Steranko History of Comics.
Mm.
And so when I'd be in my school library and I'd look at these covers and I'd never seen the Green Llama before or Airboy.
Yeah.
So that was my crash course on all that stuff. So by the time legal status has changed on a lot of this stuff, now we're in a whole other world with them. And Captain Battle particularly, what I liked about him was, there was a Nick Fury, when Nick Fury and Captain America teamed up. It was when Jack Kirby had come back to Marvel, and they had done a book. It was an episode where it was just like a war movie, pretty much. But Captain America and the Howling Commandos were all teamed up, and it's one of the greatest issues of comics I've ever read. It's not off the top of my. I think it's a Howling Commandos issue, but and Captain America and Bucky are the guests. But it's been reprinted in Captain America collections, and it's one of my favorites. And it's very clearly Jack Kirby's, experience in the military and World War II is clearly in it, and it's like the Guns of Navarone with Captain America. It's one of my favorite books. So Captain Battle fits that. He's both those characters in that situation, and he's got his son who's like Bucky. So. And they get jetpacks. So it's a little, if you want to, that's the great thing about these characters is there's a mirror image somewhere that you can use, which that's what I'm seeing the majority of people do. Yeah. And I don't put it down. I do it myself, but it's that's what the majority of people, I think.
But I also notice what you do is you kind of put your own spin. Like I was showing when you went off at one point, I was showing Heroes Unleashed, and like the first story in there, if I go back to it, is the Sword of the Blue Scarab, and you basically took the idea of the Blue Beetle and made it the Blue Scarab. Now, the Blue Scarab, to my knowledge, was not a real name of a character. It wasn't an official character. You said, you know, the beetle is a scarab. I'm going to call it the Blue Scarab. Correct? Or,
yeah, and subsequently, a lot of people are using that. But then I'm not sure. Dynamite, I think, might have caught. See, I found some of this. I would use some of this stuff, and I would. This is why I came up with the title, "The Sword of the Blue Scarab." It's sort of like the back, you know, the guns of the black bat, the mask of the black bat. This is how you work through trademark, is to come up with an original title so there's no confusion.
Yeah.
With an item. The black bat's a great example because, you know, National Periodical and whoever, Street and Smith, or whoever did Black Bat, made an agreement in 1939 or 1940 not to, you know, to let each other exist. And that's why to this day, this is why I use the Black Bat, and why one of the things I'm most proud of is the Black Bat action figure we had done, and which we're going to re-release, by the way.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's part of a larger project, which I'll hint at a little bit this time, but hopefully we can talk about again.
Well, yeah,
in the future
I was saying when you were off the air that we were talking about some stuff. I think it was last Friday or whatever. You gave me a call, and we spoke, and we want to do two things. We wanted to do this, and I want to bring you on my Tuesday night show, maybe in April or May, and talk about some stuff. So in April and May, we'll focus on the projects possibly, and do more of an in-depth interview. Today, we'll just focus on you know, public domain.
A lot of the stuff we're talking about. I'm sorry. A lot of stuff
no, it's okay.
About, you know, it'll fit into it, but
yeah,
I think that's sort of stage one with these characters. What the appeal is, I think the first thing is that people go, hey, you know, I can make my own Justice League, I can make my own Fantastic Four, I can, because clearly when these characters were made, they were copying the more popular characters anyway.
Yeah.
Then you use anomaly characters. Like one of my favorites is Golden Lad. Mort Meskin was one of my favorite artists who's ever lived, and just as a comic book artist, but as an artist as well. And so you have these characters with amazing pedigrees. There's Simon and Kirby characters, but the Simon family, I know, is claiming some of that stuff. But there's characters here and there that have a Jack Kirby pedigree that you could use. I'm using one that I've renamed. You know, I took, which is also a Harvey character, and those are problematic. I think the Harvey family has been reprinting for years to keep up trademark. There's a lot of people don't understand that the Harvey stuff, like Black Cat, that's got to be careful with some of that stuff that a lot of people are using. I also noticed people use social media to get advice, and you really can't rely on that. And you got to do your own research on it and understand, you know, if you're doing something on a small level, which, you know, I regard myself as at this point, some of this stuff, it's not really threatening. But what I like about it is it's making these beachheads. So if it did make something, I can always legally say, hey, why didn't you stop me then? Yeah. You know, that's what, and also some of this stuff, I am being a little bit cheeky, and others I'm not. And when I say being cheeky, Captain Marvel is one of these characters I just love. And I would, you know, because there's loopholes around that character, I use them. Those loopholes as much as I can, and because I love Fawcett characters so much. And so I use them, and there's other characters like Doc Savage is that way for me. You know, I've done private commissions. People like how I draw Doc Savage, and they privately commission me to draw it. I would love to. That's one of these characters that I believe should be public domain. I think he would be better off. Yeah. In the public domain.
Yeah, you want this is. I'm sorry to interrupt. This is actually funny. The other day, I was it like 2 days ago. You put a post on Facebook of a Doc Savage drawing you did, And I remember that same day I was going to post one that I did. I just did one on lunch. I wasn't even looking at yours, and I'm like, oh, everyone's going to think I copied. I was just doodling characters at lunch. And I'm like,
no, come on, everybody draws Doc Savage.
But I mean, you like literally posted it like an hour before I was going to. I'm like, yeah, no, I'll hold off a couple of days. So,
Michael, I have a feeling you're like me. You probably draw Doc Savage once a week or 3 times a week.
Yeah, he's kind of one of those characters. I just really love the design that I kind of play off of it quite a bit.
Yeah, I have this thing about the Bruce Timm version. I just love it. And if you look at some of the stuff I do, I try to make what would Doc look like if it was a Saturday morning cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes in the Johnny Quest, which we, by the way, was that clarified? Johnny Quest is owned by
we were they're owned by Warner Brothers. All the Hanna-Barbera stuff is owned by Warner Brothers right now, and I don't see that going anywhere or falling into public domain anytime soon.
Well, Johnny Quest was funny is with Captain Eli and my foray. I've had my little adventures in Hollywood and having contracts signed and the ink dry and then falling apart and producers leaving and all that stuff. And I remember that when I was in the thick of it, because the character looked so much like Johnny Quest as an homage, some of the producers, it attracted some producers because they knew that there was people having lunch that were going to make Johnny Quest into a live action film.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been on the table for the 3 movies that I always track. I love to see what's going on in Hollywood are Johnny Quest as a live action film, Doc Savage, and The Shadow. Because you've had The Shadow. They were going to do a Shadow. Well, let me just throw this out too, because I want to hope your audience like this. I think Adam Driver. If you want to make a Shadow movie, Adam Driver.
I can see that. You know, I recently rewatched the Alec Baldwin movie the other day.
He's got the no aesthetic, and he's handsome. See, that's what I love about it. Is like you don't have to explain that friggin' nose.
Yeah.
He's born to play this character. So, anyway, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Actually, last weekend, I found on HBO Max they had the Alec Baldwin Shadow. I haven't seen that in years, and I really, when I watched back, I'm like, oh, I enjoy this. It's still fun for me. Was it a perfect movie? No, but it was fun, and that's what I enjoyed that.
I'm glad you brought that up. One of my darkest moments in life. I'd been in a relationship and broke up, and I'd moved in town, and it was one of it was a cruel summer, as they say. Anyway, there was a local theater where they had dollar matinees, and guess what came out that year? The Shadow. Ooh. Do you know me? I saw The Shadow 6 times in a theater.
Really? I only saw it twice.
Due to personal problems, where I'd moved, and so you know that movie like the roof of my mouth. I love that movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed. In the 90s, the 2 superhero movies that really stuck out to me, or if you want to go with 3, is The Shadow, The Phantom, and I even enjoyed the Dick Tracy movie. I didn't like it when I first saw that, but I rewatched it recently, a couple of months back. I'm like, I should have really enjoyed that for the era that it was made. You should have.
It's like I really should have enjoyed it.
I mean, come on, like. Dustin Hoffman's character steals every scene. It's totally. It's beyond the beyond, and then Pacino. It's just a great movie. It's just the other thing is that the Vittorio Storaro lighting to make it look like a comic book. Streets are purple sometimes, buildings are red, and things like that, is so beautiful because it really. Again, this is I was going to wanted to go back. How to me, public domain characters are found object art. Yeah, and what that means from a fine art because I was kind of trained that way. I see myself doing. I mean, it's pretentious as hell, but I just see myself as an artist and a teacher. That's what I do. Everything. I work freelance and I love comics but I don't. There are comic book artists that are, I would say, from a vocational point of view. They're fantastic, amazing artists. They've been drawing in comic book art. The fans and sometimes the artists expect you to draw the same way for 30 years or 40 years. That's the antithesis of what an artist is to me. An artist has to change, grow, and hopefully improve. And my sort of defense for anything I do is that I'm always improving, and I'm going to. I never have been satisfied with what I do, and and other people aren't either. And if they aren't, take a walk. I don't care anymore. But when it comes to what I do and who I connect with, they see that there's an energy beyond, being a clone or doing pastiches. I want to try to break out a little bit and try to. I've been seeing. I think one of the reasons comics has, in the trouble it's been in, even though that's because of the movies and Disney, all this popularity, it really hasn't had a trickle down effect. And I think the public domain characters, as we explore, the creators now are exploring them separately. Eventually, I know their creators want to team up with each other, and I know I've been asked to do stuff, and I've been kind of aloof with some people on things because some of the projects that we're going to talk about and what I'm going into is because I've had to, once it's established, I feel like then I can talk about it more and work with other people and promote other people and do cross promotion and things like that. But I've been in such a major transition from going from Captain Eli and that Nemoverse stuff and transitioning like what you have in your hands with Heroes Unleashed.
Yes. Yes.
Also, the intention with Captain Eli is to republish it as a larger graphic novel, which I want to do it on Indiegogo. And the story that you have in there in Heroes Unleashed, where all the public domain characters are, was in the third issue of the third Captain Eli graphic novel. And it was a backup story in there. And as always, every story ties into the Nemo. Did I lose you?
I shared the screen. Did that close an issue? I just wanted to go through. This is, again, you guys.
I have post-traumatic stress. I got post-traumatic stress because it's earlier, so. And we can go longer, right? We can.
Yeah, we can go a little longer than an hour. I just want to go to one comment really quick, just because we were talking about Doc Savage. Mike Walsh says The Rock was rumored to be pushing and starring in a Doc Savage movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Would have been cool.
I think they're talking TV series at this point, actually.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Which is, to be honest with you, I think all pulp stuff is better off as serialized television.
I was actually going to say that. I prefer anything. I'll watch the superhero movies, but I think anything that when you read something that is serialized like a comic and the stories continue, I don't think a movie you really get to know the character, or there's not enough character development there for them, or enough time to tell the story.
Right. And it's exactly. Here's the thing. Look at James Bond.
Yeah.
Doc Savage, when George Pal got a hold of Doc Savage, that was the model they were going to use. They thought they were going to make a Bond series.
Yeah.
And this was because of the way the content was laid out, that they were the source material was being used. So, for instance, if you watch, one of the things is I love Astro Boy.
Yes.
And Tezuka, basically every episode of Astro Boy is exactly lifted from Tezuka's script. In the exact same 20, a 22-page story, 22-minute animation, and they don't change them much. So that influenced me with Captain Eli. So the story you're seeing here right now is called Shiva 99. We got a couple things happened here that were a lot of fun for me. One was Commander X is an original character based on, he's sort of like Captain Nemo, World War II superhero Captain Nemo kind of thing. It's kind of like Captain Midnight Underwater. He's also a time traveler, which is very key to the story. But he teams up with, we call him Agent H2O, and I think he's Captain Hydro at this point.
This character here, I forgot. It's been a while. You're talking about this
the guy with the flight cap was created. This shows you the pedigrees again. This was created by Bill Everett, who created Submariner, and Bill Everett had water on the brain, and he created this character Hydro Man, probably one of the dumbest costumes associated with water. I mean, I don't know why he's wearing a pilot helmet, and his neck thing looks like it's a faucet, so I kind of like that. But I could make it. he can turn into water. I just love it when I love drawing him turned into water. So I don't care. Anyway, we bring in two other characters, the Shark, which is basically Aquaman, and then Maureen Marine, which you see right there, but I've renamed her. And look, we even got, I'm calling the Black Terror and Pyro Man make a cameo. And I'm calling Black Terror now the Lincoln Continental of public domain characters. He used to be the Cadillac to me. The Cadillac now is Blue Beetle.
Okay.
I think Blue Beetle has become so used, and some very classy versions, I have to admit, I've seen people do of this character. Where Black Terror, though, for quite a few years there was, and maybe still be, I mean, Black Terror is everybody, you've drawn Black Terror, right?
Yeah, I've doodled him, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was the Cadillac. Now he's the Lincoln, I think. But anyway, they team up, and it's all part of there's a sub-story where Commander X and his sometimes girlfriend are seen in that and whatever. It kind of ties into the larger the larger universes. And eventually, if you could speed up, there's a point where they call on, in that particular scene, they're talking, they called Superhero Central or whatever, and said, listen, we're gathering heroes. If you guys can just buy us some time and fight off this alien threat, we'll show up en masse. So a battle scene ensues, which, every comic book artist would rather draw than a romance scene. And the battle ensues, and then finally, when it seems, they think they've got him under control or not under control, they all swoop in, and this is Vorgoth, I think, the Galaxy Beast, who I would love to reuse more and more. He's just, I don't know, I love Vorgoth. Anyway, as you see, they're fighting him, and they're like a aquatic Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
I would say is the equivalent here. Also, I like the idea that they're kind of specialty heroes. Being aquatic and then working together, it makes them cool. I just think it's kind of cool to see that. And the Shark is a very interesting character I like to redesign there. Maureen Marine has been really redesigned, but I redesigned her to fit in with the Captain Eli Nemoverse backstory. And she's not even, she would be known as Maureen Marine to the surface world, but I think she's Queen Aqua or something. I came up with another name for her there. I forget what it is. It's in the story, but she's got another name. Which is another way of dealing with these characters is, you take the character and then there may be a trademark name. Also, then Commander X gets his own super suit, which, by the way, is a very limited edition Mego-like action figure that some collectors own, which is out there. And this gives him the chance to jump around and fly and other stuff. And here we go. So
I love this page right here.
There we go. So
and there's Captain Battle. Yep. Sorry.
No, please interrupt me as much as you want. I can name. You want to name some, and you tell me who you're.
You know what? I don't know everybody. I'm not good with the names. I know design costumes. Like, obviously, you got the Black Terror here. This was the Comet from whatever that was it, Red Circle universe or whatever.
Let's call it Archie and get in trouble.
Yeah. You got.
As you can see, he's there. That's the Golden Age Comet. And I made him I think I gave him black boots, which was even in his first appearance. But because he's not being called the Comet, they can't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm not the only guy that's done this. I would say Eric Larson will throw in a cameo page like this and have all sorts of characters that might be questionable.
Yeah, because I noticed you got there was that Bullet Man there, right? The Human Bullet, which was
Daredevil.
Yeah, I saw Daredevil there. There's Captain Battle Jr., I believe, or is that someone else right there?
Captain Battle Jr. No, he's
not.
No.
No.
I got the Ray.
The ray is right here. I saw that. That's the fox, I believe.
Yep.
Right?
And yeah, kind of. I pulped him out. Yeah.
Yeah, you got Amazing Man here. Um,
Oh yeah. Right. Yep.
uh, it's hard for me to tell just because of the size and not seeing detail on certain ones here.
I know.
Uh,
Like at the top. Well, at the top are the weird one. If you go up to the top, this
yeah.
is where some interesting are. So we got like the Sphinx,
Mhm.
um, the her Diana the Huntress,
Okay, right
uh,
there.
Bronze Bronze Terror, who's a Native American character, which I love.
Okay.
Sort of, looks like a
Yeah.
chief with a skull. The Dart, which I renamed Golden Gladius.
Okay.
I think there's another Archie character I redesigned of like Captain or Mr. Justice.
Yeah,
And
that'd be him right there, right, Mr. Justice? Or
yeah, he's way up at the right corner.
yeah.
Then there's like the guy floating on a shield in the back is Man of War, not Man
Okay.
War. And yeah, I think I got like Wonder Boy. What you might think was Hale. No, not female Green Llama. That's Lady Luck. But I
Lady
gave
Luck.
her,
Okay.
yeah, and I have several versions of Lady Luck. She teams up with. I'd love to show you this one. I've got Lady Luck teamed up with the Ghost and Captain Battle in a group called the Ghost Patrol, and
Cool.
they're like a Thunder Agent, superhero operative, secret agent, counter terrorism kind of thing, and they have leather outfits and the whole bit. And Lady Luck, as you know, is in one of those. She's originally wears a green nightgown and a bolero hat.
Yeah.
So I got rid of all of that.
This guy down here next to Captain Battle, is that Captain Freedom or?
I can't even see. I can't. Let me see if I can zoom
He's
in.
very tiny. He's in between Captain Battle and Daredevil.
Oh yeah, that's Commando Yang.
Oh,
And
Commando.
he's
Yeah.
next
Okay.
to Press Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy zapping. Wow. And then that's Iron Skull.
Okay.
And I got Zippo in there, which Zippo is one of my speedsters.
Yeah.
And and the Jet is Black Venus.
Okay.
Who I actually made black. She's now black. Yes.
Right here.
She is now Native American.
Okay.
Yeah, that Jet there, that's Black Venus, and she's now Native American. I also made Atoma, who's that woman we only see her from the back, zapping in his mouth. She's now Native American.
Mm-hmm.
I got Panther Woman in there. Oh, and there's Heap, and of course the Heap. We'll leave it at that. We've got the Heap.
Okay. Yeah.
Who doesn't love the Heap?
You got some great stuff. I mean, just first of all, the time that went into the design of this here, and I hate inking all this. I would hate to ink all this. I'd love to draw it, but to ink.
Well, it's digital, so that's half the battle.
Yeah, that's how I ink these days. I have to go digital. Yeah. But these are. I don't want to give away the story and stuff, so I'm gonna.
Why not? We'll give it away. Yeah. But anyway, it's up to. I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's a comic book. It's like, what a spoiler. Hey,
well, I want people to go and buy this from you. Let people go out and buy this if they don't own it.
Well, I think this will make them buy. See, what I'm noticing these days is people will see it 6 or 7 times, then buy it or buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even, it's only 99 cents.
And this is still up on Indie Planet, or
yeah, and it's on Indie Planet. If you want and also I got you'll see a lot of my other work. There's Thoris, Sea Ghost is up there. Very proud of Sea Ghost.
Yeah.
So, if you put my name on Indie Planet, it'll pop up. We don't have to completely spoil it. I will say this though: it's Gwyneth Paltrow's head in the box. Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'm horrible, but and this is the Big 3 story where I created my own. This was actually created before I even found out that I could use a lot of public domain characters. And
really?
So Sea Raider right there becomes Sea Ghost in the story. I love that. There's a line in one of the the Riddick movie where everybody was somebody else, and I love that. I put that in a lot of my stories where I'll have a golden age character becomes a silver age character, and they change, and sort of like the Flash. And then there's the Human Son, who is my Human Torch character. Now, of course, we have the Blue Flame, but I have a particular soft spot for the Human Son. I think there's it's kind of an interesting, weird character I'd come up with in the past, and he's also dead, which is kind of, they always we're seeing an adventure here, and then we hear him later. Somehow he's died in some sort of tragic way, and we haven't found out about it yet. And I do that for myself, is to give this stuff some fun. But I think the last story is we're just like a preview of what if Philip K. Dick took the Dell monster characters and made a Saturday morning cartoon. That's the elevator pitch.
Horror agents, yeah.
So I love this. So it's a cross between Man in the Gold Tower or Gold Castle or whatever, Man in the High Castle, and the Dell Monster Heroes. And they hired Wally Wood to draw it. So that was kind of the premise of that.
I just want to go back. I don't think I mentioned, this is just a comment I saw. I don't think I posted it. But D the Red Cloak said, when I was talking about the mythology, said, you mentioned Hercules. It's funny, I'm doing my own original take on him, open source for people to use. I submit him to the public domain. Oh, cool. I'll check it out later.
Good for you.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I got a bunch of Hercules. I put Hercules through time. Like the one I really want to draw is Hercules 1941.
1940. Is he going into World War II?
No, he's selling coffee on the street. Of course he does. Of course he is. He's working as a fishmonger in New York. He is like the top commando. He's like the ultimate commando is Hercules. Yeah. And I got to make his symbol as a lion T-shirt, which I would love to see. You just passed Man-O-War. Man-O-War is actually a very. Yeah. I love Man-O-War. Man-O-War is. Yeah. I got it, and also that's Man-O-War is Carl Burgos. Carl Burgos came up with Human Torch, and Man-O-War is an android, just as Human Torch is, and that was pretty much a big innovation to have these heroes that were androids. And so, as I was saying, this is again characters with a pedigree. This character has to me a very, very important pedigree, and with Man-O-War, I took the original origin story and enhanced it. So this is, if you go and read the original story, which you can which eventually I'm going to reprint myself in a bigger book of Man-O-War. I explain how he's introduced is a couple archaeologists, South American, they find a utopian civilization that's been, buried, and there's Man-O-War kind of just sitting there, waiting to be activated. Yeah. And they activate him, and they find out that his sole programming and purpose is to end war and warmongers on the planet. And he's then drafted into the FBI, and we're on to the first adventure. So I go, hey, that's a little quick. I think we need to step back. Yeah. And that's what this story's about. It's sort of a primer of primer, whatever you pronounce it, for a Man-O-War book, where we give his backstory, why he was created, and how. Also, I got a female Man-O-War, Man-O-Woman, Laura, who's going to come back into the story. Also, we borrow heavily on I don't know, I'm talking about with the royal we here, but I take a lot of his storyline where he evolved, where he got plastic surgery to look more human. And became an FBI agent, worked with another character called the Red Seal. You can see the very final thing. He actually gets his face removed and made into a helmet, and he wears this farmer face on his human. And you can see there's the stages there where I added the Gold Men, which is kind of, I'm playing off of some old martial arts movies and stuff. Basically, there was this army of androids that was created. War was wiped out by by the society, which is backstory is basically the utopian society was an Atlantean province, and the way they solved war or crime was to create a race of androids as a police force. And of course, somebody gets a hold of that, a despot, and uses that, and it becomes the destruction of the or creates a robot army, and a war ensues that destroys the civilization. But before the war ensues, they had created a new the gold men don't have souls, basically, but they created a new kind of android, and Manowar was the first prototype to be more human. And he survives this situation. And I love that. It's one of my favorite things because it's taking what's already there and just enhancing it. I'm not going in and changing, or going in and saying, hey, I like this, but I'm going to change it. It's like, I love you, change. I'm going in and I'm saying, I love this. I really love this idea of how he's a passive. I don't want to call it passive. He's anti-war, and he's an anti-war operative, and that he's an android, and the connection to Carl Burgos. There's just so many things here that for me are, again, as a object art. I just got a message came in. I can't say what it is, but it's about a character we just talked about that could possibly be in a book. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I just got, oh boy, no, this is where prayer comes in. A heavy prayer. Which I believe in, and I will say to my end days, is that it's good to have some prayer. And but anyway, this is, to me, one of these kind of characters that if you delve deep into it and it clicks for you, it's, I think, can be a really good experience for the readers, to get that energy. So, I'm not just doing a pastiche. I dig it, and I want to delve deeper.
So we got a question from Tombo914. He asked, did you ever read the Gallant Comics version of the Public Domain Heroes? And I believe I know.
Yes. It's like, that's Gary. I mean, that's I can't say his name. He's with Kablam.
Gallant Comics, amazing. Yeah, I donated to one of their Kickstarters, so I got whatever their stuff was. So, like this.
Yeah, they're a good example of looking at pedigrees. They look at they have picked characters that have some really, really cool pedigrees, and they are building a universe that is really solid. And I really like the villain. One of my favorite things about the Gallant universe is the villains they've chosen. I think it's just creative, and it also reminds me, when I first saw the Gallant books, it reminded me when I was burnt out on comics as a teen, because DC and Marvel just reprinting things, and a weird Charlton book would show up, or some indie book would miraculously show up with some characters you'd never seen before. And I think they have achieved that, high-end quality. So I like them.
I have to agree. First of all, the artwork of who was this? This was Steve Butler and Barry Gregory. All right, is that those two I think worked really well together. Like you said, high quality. But what I really enjoyed, I've read all. I have issues 1 through 5, I believe, through the Kickstarter I donated to or whatever, and I've read all of them. But I thought this was a great introduction to the character of Amazing Man for people who are not aware of him. They did a nice little kind of update to his story while still using like his history. You know what I mean in there? Like
exactly. And I had actually talked to Barry before about this, and also I talked with Chris Mills. We've talked to each other about, not stepping on each other's toes, not saying it that way, but we do, hey, what are you doing? And kind of thing. And I'm really, to be honest with you, I don't see any issues with any of this stuff because everybody's got their own stamp.
Exactly.
So again, I think this is the appeal of it, is that it's like a giant company by having all these separate little companies do this stuff. I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing to consolidate, is what I'm saying. I like the idea that I think it's good to consolidate in terms of the press and getting people a clearinghouse to know who's doing what. But the creative teams and the way they work, like for instance, Brian and Augustin and I work together with the Captain Midnight book, which I'll go get. Well, I don't want to break our connection beginning, but the Captain Midnight book, where I snuck in all the Fawcett characters and some cameos. We work really well together, and he's got a whole plethora of directions he wants to take public domain in, and he's a big fan of street vigilante, daredevil-like characters.
Okay.
And we've got a version of the Clock that I would love to produce one day, which is along those lines. So, but back to those guys, with back to Amazing Man and the way they're using him too is he's basically Superman meets Namor, which is cool. Just and you look at his pedigree, that's what he is. Bill Everett did. Now, the other thing about Amazing Man is he's one of these characters that gets his powers from a ancient advanced civilization, which to me was, is I call it your Shangri-La plot. Or Shambhala, Shangri-La, Shambhala being under, in Agartha underground and all that stuff. That pseudoscience, occult pseudoscience stuff is what I love about the Golden Age, and I use it all the time because I tie it to Atlantis and Lemuria, and it's basically my way of tying in aliens and all this kind of stuff, which other universes do too. But I give it my own, because of my own research, I give it my own spin and its own mysticism and things like that.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I just sorry to interrupt, but I want to say one of the things I love about specifically Golden Age is the mysticism behind the characters. Like when you get to the Silver Age, we're looking at science primarily as the way people develop powers, because it was a different, what people were studying in the society. So when you're looking at the 20s and 30s, mysticism, going to psychics, all that was like super popular. So everybody was getting their powers from the mysticism. Like the Golden Age, even just, I know he's not public domain, but even the Golden Age Green Lantern, his came from a ring that from a lantern that spoke to him, that was made out of a meteorite or whatever it was. I don't remember, but it was this mystical energy.
And that was and the idea of that was, it was just, again, back to mythology. That's Aladdin's lamp. That's why he was called Alan, exactly. Not Alan. What's his face? Alan, whatever they changed his name to. But and Dr. Fate, of course, and Egyptian having Captain Marvel. What the integration of the Egyptian background with Black Adam, who's now got his own movie. This is what gives it the gravy, its body, are these mythological archetypal storylines, which are just getting misinterpreted or interpreted from one medium to the next. So, like, for instance, if you look at this cover, they have a horror character, Dr. Vampire, working with. So, that's the fun of the Golden Age, was it wasn't just mysticism. It was a mixture of, if you audience was, I got to get my power thing in here, my power cord in here.
Oh, of course.
I really want to see something. It's going to freak you out, your readers out. I don't know if you've seen it. Is Dr. Terror, Dr. Terror. You go to
Wait, you're freezing up again. Hold on. Let's let him get his stuff in. In the meantime, I just want to...
Digital Comics Museum. There's a Dr. Terror story there that absolutely... I'm sorry?
No. I was waiting for you to plug in. You were getting choppy for a sec. Yeah, I can hear you. I just wanted to show Jeffrey Wilcox said thanks for the podcast. I'm still here. Jeffrey Wilcox says thanks for the podcast. It reminded me of a couple old art projects I thought up ages ago, and now I can do them and present them on the public domain Facebook page. So on the public domain here, Jeffrey, I look forward to seeing that. Jay, did I lose you? You're still there. Hold on. Uh-oh. Let's give it a minute. We're going back.
I'm still here. You're kind of breaking up a little. Can you hear me?
You're frozen on the screen, your image. Oh, there you go. You're back. But as long as I can hear you, like I said, we're fine. So, yeah, anyway, you were saying on the digital, what was the site again? Digital what?
Here we go.
Okay.
How's this?
That's fine.
Yeah,
right.
It's my hookup. I don't know why this is so weak.
Well, we could talk another time. Maybe I'll help you out. So when you do these type of things, not just my show, but other people's, you won't have.
Well, I Zoom and I don't have any issues. What do you think the issue is?
I don't know.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. But what was it you were saying? The digital. What was the website? So I can write it out to the audience to look stuff up.
Digital Comics Museum. These are scans of comics that would be cost prohibitive for you to own. Most of us,
okay.
And we probably wouldn't want to take them out of their bags and read them.
Okay.
There were a lot of Golden Age books have dropped in price. Where something this book, of course, there's some books more important than others, but you can find some amazing stuff in high res to read, and featuring a lot of these characters we're talking about. Specifically, all the characters that you're seeing prominently, you should be able to find on that site. Yeah. All the things current creators are using prominently, you can find their original form. So Blue Beetle, Amazing Man, all that stuff.
Okay. See, I'm adding the link to the Digital Comics Museum in the chat for everybody. Let's see. Mike Walsh says, I'm going to pushing to create a super setting of Prowlers. Is that Paragon? Oh, Paragon's Unlimited Edition RPG based off public domain. This is great info that to get started. Yeah, and by the way,
I work on the Prowlers and Paragons things. So hire me, okay?
And I will say, talking about
bring me in. I can help.
Yeah, RPG games. I have all my stuff put away because I stopped the session, but I am I am a dungeon master. I do play Dungeons and Dragons, and I do DM. I just finished DMing for a library, and it was a gig. My friend normally does it, but he took some time off, and they asked me to come in, and I created. I did it for 2 months. I created 2 stories. One was loosely based on Greek mythology. Another one was on some other stuff that I did, and I just love. I love the idea of role playing games. They're some of my favorite. I've never used public domain characters in them, but role playing superior total. Yeah.
I've made hundreds of tokens for Mythic Portal games, which you can find on Facebook, and we did actually one of the editions was a Prowlers and Paragons that I did, where I created Ursat's characters based on public domain characters, but they're their own thing. So you can check those out. And then I also work with a great guy named Scott Pyle that creates his own characters that we're talking about. I've worked on some of his projects, and I would like to bring in some of mine. And he's, basically creates game engines and his own gaming books and things like that. So, yeah, no, that's where this is where I feel like there's a natural crossover here to role-playing games and public domain superheroes, just as much as the comics.
Yeah, I love RPGs. I think not just as a player, but as I've worked in gaming before. Mostly, I was doing educational software for kids back in the 90s and doing character design and animating and editing and stuff. And I love that stuff. But
what did you work? I worked on Fizz and Martina. What did you work on?
Nothing that got popular. I don't even remember the names. I worked on 2 projects. It was my first real professional gig. I was 18 years old, and it was a lesson that I learned a lot of stuff on how to work with bosses, especially from other countries, and the
Yeah.
issues that how they think. I'll put it this way: my boss was Korean. I was in college, and
Yep.
the Korean work ethic is different than the American work ethic in the sense where they expect you to stay late for the same exact pay, where I had to leave at certain times to go to classes, and my paycheck would be cut because he didn't think I technically fulfilled the hours because I didn't stay late without expecting extra pay. So, like, if I was
Yeah.
scheduled
No,
at 5 because I had a class 10 minutes down the road and I needed to leave there, at 5 to get there for a 5:30 class, he docked my
Michael,
pay. Yeah.
I worked for an animation studio that did the same thing, and they weren't Korean.
Oh. So
No,
it was.
it's a '90s thing. It was a '90s
Yeah,
thing.
it was a hard lesson, but you know what?
You get there
The
early,
com-
leave late, and they pay you the same amount of money. That's
yeah,
that, and
the
they'll fire you because there's somebody else who wants the job. That's the
yeah,
intimidation.
the company only lasted about 2 years. It only did 2 or 3 projects, and I worked on 2 of them. And
Right.
they brought me in. Actually, I quit at one point. They brought me in. They fired me. They rehired me. I quit again, and then they hired me. It was one of those type of jobs because that was just he was pulling kids out of school, just so we were all like 18, 19 years old working on these projects and making these games. And I don't even know what happened to them. They're probably somewhere out in
Well,
Korea now.
Michael, it's called child abuse.
Yeah, it was. But you know what? It was a great learning. I look back at it now, and I think it was
That was your boot camp.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a great learning experience on how to deal with certain situations and how to properly negotiate money, how to
Deal with insanity.
deal with all the stuff, the stress levels, and I love the gaming world. I really do, and not just like the digital or the role. I just love the idea of gaming and talking about the stuff that we're doing now with public domain. There's no reason that we can't take something. I forgot what he was using. The what was the one I put up there that he said? The prowlers and paragons.
Yeah, Prowls and
You know,
Paragons. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that, but there are generic role playing systems that you can throw superheroes into, and so there's a
Right.
lot of great stuff. Now hold on, I got a comment here. It says that's where I'm using the Steamroller commission you did for me a few months ago, Juggernaut Steampunk Hybrid. Okay, so that's for the
See, we were just
so
talking about it.
yeah.
See, now this is where it's so much fun for me is that gamers will come to me, not only with huge projects, but they'll also have individual characters they're using themselves, and I can help visual. And I try to create a reasonable rate for that because it's fun for me. I enjoy character design. I mean, and also I want to compete with Hero. What's the thing they use with those engines to make your own characters that people can't draw?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of it now.
Well, it's like John Henry. You know the story of John Henry? I want to compete with one of the machines.
One of the machines.
And show everybody what a real comic book designer can do with a costume. I mean, this is my dream, actually. I know this is complete egotism, but I'd like to be thought of as the Gianni Versace of comic book costume design. Starting with the Sea Ghost, because he's so Italian looking, black and white, spot blue, is very Italian.
Hero Machine. Yeah.
Oh, that's it, Hero Machine. Yeah, I would like to try to compete with Hero Machine so that just find the money and hire me.
Very reasonable rates.
Thanks. See, nobody's better at screwing myself than myself. Pro tip.
I think we're all like that. I think we all.
You think? It's yeah. People know they see us coming. and they go, I've cut my rates like you cannot believe. But
and yeah, I've done the same. And I've and this is just like a freelance thing. I've had to, because of the pandemic, when this going on, people are like, well, you're not coming into the office anymore, or we're not using this part. So where we normally pay you this is what you're getting now. And it's like,
they're going to pay for it spiritually.
Yeah, it's but you need to take the work sometimes. So, we do get screwed, but
well, it's called slavery.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the rule of the day right now. So, but it's okay, because the thing is, if your imagination, if you keep it going, it always finds a way. And again, I'll go back to prayer. You take prayer and your imagination, and what else do you need? Besides money, a roof over your head, and revenge and power. I don't know what else you need.
Hold on, let's see. Jay, hold on. This is something interesting here. Jay has hooked me on multiple platforms for logo and backgrounds for Vampire Masquerade project to the supers and even fantasy characters. The talent is worth it. Very nice.
Wow.
Can't say enough good things.
Wow.
You got fans out there, man. That's awesome.
It's good to know, because my personal life is non-existent from COVID. And so anything I can get to feel good about myself at this point.
Yeah.
I decided to go through a spiritual awakening during a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Bad move.
And so it hasn't helped you.
It's a good. It just if you go through any kind of, I don't know if everyone go through life change, it's best to be alone and work yourself out. And then when you're 10 times more isolated than you should be, it's amazing. So thank you for having me on, because I'm going to go back and burn my stamp collection later. And
well, you should watch the first 20 minutes of this and just laugh at how
I don't even remember that. I'm forgetting that happened. And my hope is you're getting like this.
Yeah, no, I think I don't know. I don't see who's officially on, but I don't think anybody really left from it. Everybody's been around. I think that they were all excited to see how it turned out.
Live TV.
Can we continue, or was I going to end early? What was happening?
Were they going to hear me swear in between? I had some good ones. It was I only sweared once during when we were gone, and I won't repeat it. I'm good that way. But it was creative. I was amazed by it. It was. You were talking about the occult and science fiction. It was both.
Yeah.
It had elements of both those things.
I will say this: if we weren't on the air and this was happening to me, there would be a lot of colorful words coming out of my mouth. The second I'm on air, I stop with the colorful terminology. Yeah.
Me too. No, you're a teacher and used to broadcasting and public speaking, so you can stop yourself from saying things that'll get you jailed in Wyoming.
Yeah. And sometimes, no matter how much you want to say it, it's in your head. You're like, could you please be quiet in your head? It's like, and all these other things are going on, but it comes out. Please quiet down.
Yeah. It's always it's always risk evaluation. Can I do it? No.
Yeah.
Could I do it? Kind of, maybe. And then that's where we get into trouble.
Yeah. I think we're going to have to wrap up soon, just because I have freelance work to do, but I have two questions we're going to go with. So first one is from Mike, who says, do you feel the quarantine workload has increased or decreased for you, Jay?
I have to be honest. The quarantine, for all its problems that I've had, has helped me. I also teach online. I have private students, as well as teaching on a national platform and a local platform with local schools.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite where I want to be yet, but it has led me to get far more independent and far more self-sufficient with what I'm working on. And all of my clients right now are not major companies or major names by how other people would estimate it, but are major creative people and great people, and found me and like what I do. And I really believe in the projects they're doing. I grew up in Maine where, they're boat built. When you build a boat, you stick by the thing you built. And a lot of the projects I'm working on are kind of like that, where I'm going to be starting, Indiegogos for the very projects I'm being paid to create with other creators. So I've been incredibly fortunate through this time. That's been incredibly sad on so many levels, and very unfortunate for so many people in so many ways.
Yeah.
So I really got to frame that way. But for me personally, because of the pandemic, again, anything where you're forced out of your comfort zone, it can really lead to a better place. So yeah, the gaming for me has been highly frustrating, but highly rewarding in terms of, I think I'm a better artist from sheer volumes and the kind of volume that's required for some of this gaming stuff is really amazing. And also doing the online teaching, I believe, is harder than being in the classroom. So a lot of these things that were incredible tests to stretch have been character building, and hopefully as these projects come out, and people get back to some more of the economy gets back to normal, more people can participate. And but I feel like this pandemic has, the time I've had in my isolation, I've used to consolidate and build a stronger foundation for the future. So
that's great to hear. All right, and the
still
last
in the process. It's very difficult.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I'll be honest, for myself, just personally, I didn't have almost any freelance work until probably this past December. I started working again, like freelance, and now I'm starting to get work again. But it was hard because my job was to talk with schools, and like you do, but I was going to schools. I was guesting in schools, and when that shut down, it was like, well, we can't afford to bring you in anymore. No one's coming in, but I freelanced here and there, but that was what I was doing a lot of, or at least in the process of building,
right.
And I was starting to get places, and then they're like, oh yeah, we got to cancel. We don't want to do it virtual, and it was whatever it was. So it is what it is. But I didn't start really working like freelance art again until probably like end of November, December time.
Wow.
So it took almost, a long time. So, and now, like I said, I got to go because I'm trying to finish a project this weekend, and
I'm working.
Yeah.
I think most freelancers do.
Yeah. And I might have something starting up on Monday or Tuesday of next week. So, I'm hoping that works. But let's get to the last question from D the Red Cloak. What are your views on open source characters?
I've created a couple that I want to take back, but
now, for those who don't know, you want to explain what open source is?
Sure. A creator will create a character, and then basically will create a term of use around it, where if you choose to use the character, you can, and if you make money off of it or anything, it's all yours to use. It's like a public domain, it's sort of an original public domain character, but in a lot of cases, like in my case, I created mine around being so-called all ages. I don't want any these particular characters. I don't want somebody to make a porno thing about them just for the heck of it. So I just kind of put that. That's as far. I have sort of a disclaimer in that. In fact, that's one of the ways I first met Michael Norwitz. He saw these my open source characters, and he said, "Can I do female versions of them?" I'm like, "Yeah." So, yeah. So I think open source characters are great. I think they're a lot of fun. It's part of the hobby of it. It's not really a business part of it. The way the public domain character, I believe, you can make money from
Mm-hmm.
and own a character like and publish your own character, your own version of it, and make money off of something that was made in 1948, you know, or two
Yeah.
or whatever. With open source, it's a fun, creative thing. Again, that's how I met Michael. You know, so I did it as a lark, didn't think anything would come of it, and it would be fun to see. It's sort of like putting a message in a bottle, you know, and you know what beach it winds up on, and you know wound up in Michael Norwitz's, and he wanted to make them into female heroes, and so you know my question was answered.
Yeah.
You know when I made them. In the ones I've seen, there's some really nice ones. You know, most of I'm seeing are made on that hero generator thing.
Yeah.
You know, I did see I remember seeing. I don't remember what they were exactly, but I remember seeing one or two where I'm like, "Dang, you're encroaching on my area."
Oh,
Like,
wow.
Yeah, no, there's a little ego. It's stupid, but well, just to the point where you're like, I wished this character was more. I mean, well, I don't want to get into it, but it's it's good to have a little envy and jealousy of some of this stuff. You know, where you're like, gee, I wish I did that. That's just where I'm not highly negative on it, other than I wish I'd come up with that.
Yeah, no,
Does that answer that?
Yeah, I think it answered good, and I'm right there with it. I've never done any open source characters. I look at them here and there, but I haven't found anything. Yeah, I haven't found anything I'd want to use, and that's no offense to any of the creators. It's I've spent a lifetime creating all my own characters, and when I discovered public domain, I'm like, well, I could now kind of populate my world with all these other characters if I can't think of anything that fits, you know. And I'm like. And that's kind of what I'm starting to do.
Why to use them? Like the why to use one. Like to me, if you're going to use one, is to expand your audience. So let's say that, and to build your these multiple boutique cults.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, in one of the stories I'm working on, there's a guy that has taken Lash Lightning and done his own thing with it as a fan and done his own stuff, and Michael works with him, and we're kind of putting him as a cameo in the story, so it's almost like what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And even though we're not talking about huge numbers of people, it just expands more people to promote it, and get the tribe larger. So I think that's what they do. That's what they're for. And I know there's some out there that are highly popular within fandom that, there's Jenny Neverwhere or something.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, there's characters like that where they're designed to be multiverse travelers.
Mm-hmm.
When I designed minor, they're called the Terrific Trio, and they're they're each from a different dimension. So they're alien dimensional characters, and they were designed so if you have a multiverse and you wanted them to show up, they'd be very much like a public domain character that they already were pretty much there, and had my stamp of what I thought a cool superhero looked like. And this is why I'm saying, like, okay, my way of giving back. If you like my work or like characters like this, here's one of mine. This is something not public domain, but open source, and where you've got an original idea there.
Yeah. So it was Jenny Everywhere was the name.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I want to thank you for coming on. We also got a comment here from Mike. Thanks, guys. Great show. Looking forward to more. I definitely, I'll be honest, I definitely want to bring you back on both this, sometime in the future, maybe talk more about public domain. But when you got, a project or your own book or something, I'd love to come out and promote it. And I'd love to have you on my Get in Tune show, like we talked about on a Tuesday night, probably April or May, whenever you're ready. And
absolutely.
I would love to talk more, definitely not just about public domain, but the actual work that you're doing with these characters. And seeing, like I said, I see your work every day. The amount of stuff you have, it's like every time I go on, there's a different post by you. And I'm like, how do you have time to do all this work? So it's
well, as I said, I don't have a
crazy.
personal life.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
one
I
way.
get it. I get it.
You can go that route. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you're at the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
I'm like the Count of Monte Cristo, but I don't have the Abbey Faria on the other side, and I'm digging.
Yeah.
And we'll soon be out of the Chateau d'If.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've read that one. No, I know that one. It's been a while since I've read it, and
just go watch the movies.
The movie was fantastic.
Which one? No, I don't like the Jim Caviezel one.
I've seen both, and I don't mind the Jim Caviezel one. I like that one a little bit. Yeah, but the which one? What was the one before it? Who was in that?
Well, Richard Chamberlain.
Yeah, I enjoyed both.
And Tony Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
It plays Danglars, not Danglars. He plays the lead villain, the guy who marries Mercedes.
Yeah, I don't remember the name right now.
It's my favorite book.
Yeah, it is. Well, I don't know if that's my favorite, but it's definitely a great book. I love it. I love it.
The reason it's my favorite book is like because Dumas. I mean, and also if you read the whole all the just been public domain. This is really kind of an interesting thing with classics. Is the Three Musketeers series?
I read the Three Musketeers at some point.
When you read, he aged them through each one of from Three Musketeers to Four Musketeers to the Man in the Iron Mask. And the Man in the Iron Mask is the one where they've retired and become old. You know, they gather together again. It's the weakest of the stories, but at the same time, what's amazing about it is, from a plot point of view, and the sheer plot of the Count of Monte Cristo has been so borrowed from, used in different ways. It's probably one of the tightest plots. It's the revenge. It's the ultimate revenge story. Mm-hmm. And without being a revenge story, you know what I mean? Where it's not about, where it's not a tough guy movie where, you can't wait till he wipes it. It's not like a Tarantino movie. Everyone's going to get wiped out at the end, or a Sergio Leone movie where the great gunfight will be at the end. This is about, it really explores human issues through this amazing plot. So I would, and then again, the Three Musketeers. So I recommend anyone going back and checking that stuff out because it's a way to make comics and movies.
Totally. I agree with you. Well, first of all, Mike Wilkie just joined us, so thanks, Mike. But we're actually ending right now, so hopefully you go back and rewatch.
No. Let's talk more.
I'm sorry. I unfortunately have more stuff to do, but if I didn't have stuff to do, I think I could be here for at least another hour talking.
I have a personal life. I need this. Let's do this tomorrow.
We'll talk.
Michael, thank you.
Talk soon.
Let me just say thank you so much.
You're very welcome, but thank you for coming on. I really enjoyed chatting with you. I always enjoy talking with you. I love looking at the stuff that you're putting out. So I look forward to having you on to my other show, and when you're ready to start talking about the project you're doing. So, in the meantime, just keep posting that work. You guys check out the stuff in the credit. Where can people find you? I didn't put up your social media.
I got a ton of stuff on Facebook, and my personal page is there, and I have an art page there. If anyone wants to get in touch with me for commissions, please do. That's kind of where I use it. I don't have a list of the prices and stuff. I'm pretty cheap with stuff. We can talk about what you do. If we do, I have a really cheap page rate if you do work in bulk. So if you just want me to come in 1 or 2 pages, I'm going to give you my regular rate. But if you want to do 8 pages or more, you'll see there's going to be it's significantly competitive. Let's say that. What I've been really happy about again is that there's so many people out there that can see that they can access this industry, the so-called industry as it is. Mm-hmm. And there are people like me and you and others who do professional work that are willing to work with you and can get some really cool product made. And particularly with the gamers out there, again, I want to stress that is thank you for being there. And let's build a stronger audience for comics and gaming as a unified audience to help each other.
No, I agree. All right. Well, thank you. We'll definitely be in touch if you want to hang around for a few minutes in the green room. I'll be there in a moment. All right. You guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm really happy for everyone who stuck it out through the whole show, especially with the first like 20 minutes having a little technical difficulty. But I thought today was really fun. Honestly, if I didn't have more work to do later today, I would totally have stayed on for at least another hour. I love chatting with Jay. I love his work. I love talking about the work, the stuff that he's doing. So come in on Tuesday night at 8:30 on the same channels you're watching on now. I'm gonna have a fantastic artist talking about the work that he's done, and come in next Saturday to this. I think I haven't decided yet, but I think I might do a whole discussion on the storytelling of WandaVision. That's kind of where my head is at right now because yesterday's episode was so fantastic. But you guys, thanks for tuning in. I will see you all. I'll see you all on Tuesday night. All right, bye, guys.